name, so it's great to be an ambassador for a brand that is striving for the best. Again, this is very huge for esports as you get yet another big name player, especially in Europe in the world of football, into the esports game, getting everything they possibly can developed into it so that not only is it looked at by someone that guys like myself, Michael, and Toast love to play on a daily basis, but by everybody worldwide.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inner Miami Marketing, LLC. It's time for Kai's Corner on OnsideRadio.com. To talk to Kai, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. To reach out on the text line, it's 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm on your home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
Good morning here at beautiful Dry Pink Stadium. I am that man, Kai Chen Chisholm, and of course, with
yeah,
me
you are.
Every single morning, you heard his voice there. I have to start coming up with new intros to everything for Sean, but the great, the wrestling phenom.
No phenom. No, that's the Undertaker.
The wrestling icon.
No, I think that's Hogan or one of them Sting, somebody.
The wrestling man.
Okay, I'll take that.
In order to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? Mr. Sean Stanley. Sean, how are you on this beautiful Monday morning? We're about to head into June. Summer is officially here.
It's Memorial Day, man.
It is Memorial Day. It is a happy thank you to all who have gone and served our country. Of course, Sean, yourself as well. There's some other people.
The ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
You don't think you paid an ultimate sacrifice?
No, not the ultimate sacrifice. You pay a sacrifice when you serve, but the ultimate sacrifice is the ones that paid for us to be able to sit here and talk with the freedoms that we have.
Right. Well, I agree with that. To everyone who's who's fought and done their part, thank you. I do want to give a shout out to my brother, just because not in terms of the ultimate sacrifice there, but he is in the National Guard and his journey to get to the National Guard from where he kind of was in life. I'm very, very proud of him. So I do want to give him a shout because he wanted to be a Marine, and then some family stuff happened, and wasn't able to go down. It's not going to air out anything, but I had a good weekend, I have to say, for myself personally. However, for the sports world, it wasn't the greatest weekend that we could have possibly had. We didn't have that great of a game this Saturday for Inter Miami. Of course, earlier that afternoon, we had a situation that happened with the Miami Heat in which they got just, again, absolutely just destroyed. And it was, dude, it was just such a poor day of sports, such a poor day of kind of being able to watch your favorite team go out there and put on a performance. So it was hard to watch happen, in terms of what was happening everywhere. Like, it was just such an interesting and poor weekend of sports. But I guess it's led to a lot of questions. I mean, it's led to questions around the Heat. It's led to questions around, Inter here. And I guess since we'll get into the Heat here in a little bit, especially because we have our roundtable later that involves the Heat and the Panthers. So we'll talk about that more later when we get into that, probably in the next segment or the segment following. But with Inter Miami, and I guess there isn't much to say. I don't want to get, so deep into certain things. I know I don't want to press too much into certain topics. I would rather just kind of talk about what happened and what I kind of saw on the field. Of course, for anyone who listens to the pre and the post game here, when you come out and watch the games, usually me and Austin come in for the last segment there of the post game and we give our thoughts. We were not able to this past Saturday, but I think it just comes down to a lot of very interesting stuff, in my personal opinion. I just, there were things that I saw that kind of bothered me on the field, and just from watching like a pure soccer point of view. I don't, for anyone that wants to get more into other things happening, I personally am not going to get into things. I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know of, because that's kind of my MO in terms of sports and anything else. If I don't know about something, I will not talk about it, because I don't want to sound like an idiot, and I don't want to speak on something that I don't know of. So for other things off the pitch, I'm not. You want to get that information, you can go to someone else, probably Austin or anyone else, to get that information. I myself will not go into something that I'm not too well, known in. But in terms of the play on the pitch, I mean, you heard Lewis Morgan and Phil Neville talk about it and kind of saying that they want to give the fans a little bit better, and giving the supporters clubs and La Familia and just everyone that came out. I think it was reported 15,900 and something officially that were in the stands, and they sold out ticket-wise, which is fantastic. I mean, you have 3,000 less than the 18,000 capacity here. 15,000 is just a hell of a number in general. I mean, you're virtually almost doubling already off the bat what you had in terms of an 8,000 capacity. You go over to 18, you almost have double of what you have in the stands. And I think from that point of view, the one thing I can say that I've seen people on my Twitter kind of go, oh, well, this team sucks, so you're not going to be able to do this or that. I don't think that the team sucks. I really, truthfully do not. And at the same time, and that was talking about kind of the fans, because I've seen some people, go and question, well, why would you do this? Why would you do that? For all of the stuff that we talk about with Miami sports, right? And we've said it a lot here on this show in terms of fair weather and how a fan can, fans act and everything like that. They came to watch that team, and were there some boos? Yes, it's going to happen no matter what team you have, whatever city you're in. Were there some people filing out? It happens, again, everywhere that you're going to be, but you cannot discredit, especially if you were here. I mean, I talked to some people yesterday that I had mentioned on Friday, they are around my place of employment, and I talked to them a lot, and they came out yesterday and they said they had they came out on Saturday, and they mentioned to me, they're like, we had a hell of a time. It's like the environment, the atmosphere. They were saying that they want to be able to try to get some tickets in the area of where the Supporters Club is, because they had tickets on the other side, like directly across there, and they were saying they love it. And I think that the fan aspect of things, strictly, and then onto the pitch, they've done a fantastic job on kind of building something, with the team and with the supporters clubs and with the fans, building something here with La Familia and trying to get things going. So I think that off the bat is awesome. On the pitch, there were some things that did for sure bother me. One of the things I think that was shown on the pitch very early on that was very interesting, once you play that 5 in the back, essentially 3 in the back with, the wing backs there, having Lewis Morgan, and then Makun was playing as a left back, sort of like a left wing back as well. Having them kind of play as wing backs, you could see a change after that second goal. They immediately changed formations. They tried going into 4 in the back there, and they tried making other things happen. So it was very different than what you saw on the pitch after that second goal that DC United had. But I think the frustrations came in build-up. The frustrations came in when on defense, not being able to go out there, and it was just lapse in defense. It was lapse, I guess, in concentration that we might have saw, and things weren't really clicking, and so you get frustrated. They do have a 21-day break, essentially. They come back on the 19th when they'll play DC United again. That, of course, not here. That going to be out there in DC. So they'll have a break, and they'll be able to try to come back and I guess put out a better performance. I think that what was said by Lewis Morgan, what was said by Phil Neville, I think that can already tell you exactly how they feel. And I personally, in terms of blame or in terms of anything like that, I think for all sports, usually how I feel, and especially in the world of football, I think that yes, things do start and stop with the manager. Things, especially in world football, they control every aspect of everything. And I think that what they had said and what Phil Neville says in terms of him saying exactly that, that the buck stops with him. I think that you're taking ownership of it, whether it's publicly, whether it's privately, whatever it is, taking ownership for whatever's happening on the pitch. And I don't think, I mean, I've seen some crazy things out there on Twitter from the game this past weekend, from the fans to the coach to the players. I think that maybe it's the fair weather thing, and I in terms of some other aspects of people maybe trying to get into football and trying to watch the beautiful game, but I really have no idea how we can kind of go out there and just be, I don't know, like too overly critical. I think you can be very critical right now. I think that you can have your opinions and you can go after whatever you need to do, but I think going into a different side of things and making things more than they are has been a little bit insane. But to get back onto the pitch again after going into like another little like a soliloquy there, I think the defense, lapses in defense definitely bothered me a little bit. And then I think the biggest thing as well was kind of playing balls across instead of kind of pushing up, a lot of having to, pick the head up, going out there and making the extra pass or turning around and going out there. And I guess the biggest thing I think was kind of in the midfield where it was, again, picking up that extra pass or making that extra touch and getting out there and playing it out wide. I think Lewis Morgan, by the way, had a fantastic game. He is showing us why he was the MVP last season. He's starting to come onto form again, and hopefully Robbie Robinson can get into some good bill of health here soon, because then you have him on the wing, you have Lewis Morgan playing out there on the wing. I think we can all say the wing back role was a little bit different, but credit to Phil Neville for also changing it up. I think that's the other thing that kind of is coming a little bit out of out of question and out of trying to talk about it is when you know that something isn't working and to go against what you are as a coach consistently. We've seen this with Jose Mourinho. We've seen this with Mauricio Pochettino. We've seen this with so many coaches now that have refused to change what they do, who have refused to go away from something that they've gone for so long. We might see it now in the Bundesliga with Julian Nagelsmann. I mean, he is a 3-in-the-back guy, and they're not built for 3-in-the-back football right now. They clearly aren't, and you could see that with him. I mean, you've seen it with Germany and Joachim Löw, where he didn't want to change his style of play, and now he's taking it. It takes a lot for a manager to look at a situation and to change up what's happening, and I think that you have to give a lot of credit for that, because knowing that something isn't working and going out there and attempting to change it and attempting to try to find a solution to whatever you feel as a manager is a problem, I think that takes a lot. So they're coming on to a 21-day break. I think they'll come out against DC United on that 19th game, which I believe is a night game as well, and not here in DC. I think they'll come out much stronger. Hopefully they get a very good bill of health from that as well. And then, we have some other stuff that we're going to be able to talk about soccer-wise. I mean, the Euros are starting extremely soon now. On top of the Euros, you have the Gold Cup. There's a lot of other things soccer-wise as well. If you want to hear, and I know Austin has an hour dedicated to Inter Miami, and then he has an hour dedicated to kind of world football. If you want to get more into that, on Saturdays you can catch Austin talk on Red Card Radio at 11 a.m. every single Saturday. He does a fantastic job when it comes to soccer. I think Austin, the knowledge that he has is fantastic. So if you want to listen to him, he talks about the Premiership, he talks about everything in world football, and he also talks about the MLS, very specifically, of course, here with Inter Miami CF. You can listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday, like I said, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Roblard, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat Rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
WLESPN, broadcasting from a largely empty building. And we do sports.
It's just not local.
Shush, honey.
Why is the building empty?
Because whether it be budget cuts or stupid management, we fired almost everybody.
Ooh, but we still have our job live and local.
At least the building is.
We've got your sports.
Now Florida's choice for sports talk.
OnSideRadio.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
This Inter Miami CF Minute is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world and a great place to watch Inter Miami CF. Stout features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey.
Inter Miami had their first ever sellout crowd at Drive Pink Stadium while operating under full capacity, but the fans weren't enough to put on an inspiring performance against DC United. A 3-0 defeat showed a lot of good talent from DC United, but quite the opposite from Inter Miami as they struggled defensively with Phil Neville's 3-5-2 formation at the back. The defense seemed sloppy. It didn't seem like they were organized and ready to try out a formation like that, and he switched very quickly to a 4-2-3-1 after conceding the second goal, but nothing was enough to come back from the deficit, and the game ended 3-0.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. So, another thing I saw here on Twitter, I thought was funny. Someone tweeted out, and I'm not gonna give their Twitter handle. They have a pretty big following. I don't want to give out their handle, but I think this comes into it ties what's happening right now in Washington with what happened with the Dolphins in terms of just people being crazy. So he tweets out Ryan Fitzpatrick's 7 starts in 2020, 162 completions out of 236 attempts. 1,792 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And then he says potential 2021 projection. 277 completions out of 404 attempts, 4,352 yards, 29 touchdowns, and only 5 more interceptions at 12. What version of, did these people watch Ryan Fitzpatrick this season? He never looked good. I really truthfully don't understand the lore, the love for Ryan Fitzpatrick. This dude was not good last season. And people are sitting here trying to project what he's going to have. Like, oh yeah, he threw 7 picks, but he's only going to throw 12. He's not going to throw more than that. He didn't even throw 7. He threw 8. What the heck? This is even wrong. This is looking at the stats. He threw 8. He was 13-8. I don't get it. In his time with the Dolphins, he threw 33 touchdowns and 21 picks. And come on now. Everywhere he's been. Cincinnati, 8 touchdowns, 9 picks. Buffalo, 80 and 64. He's thrown 169 interceptions in his career. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a journeyman. Oh my God, wait, I have to pause here. That shirt is awesome.
Of course it is.
Sorry, I was about to go into a whole soliloquy there about Ryan Fitzpatrick, but that shirt is awesome. Anyways, you'll see that when Big O comes on his show. He's a journeyman. To get back to that, and I don't understand why people are trying to project that he's gonna have some fantastic season or something good, great's gonna happen, or he's gonna be this otherworldly player. He's always been a journeyman. I don't understand why we're sitting here trying to project, well, you know what? He's going to be able to have this, and he's going to do a great job of it. And, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to be able to tell people, and he's going to be able to change things around. That's what he does. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, was not playing well at all last season. That's why you put in a rookie quarterback coming off of a horrific injury onto the field. And even that rookie quarterback wasn't great. And even then you came in and, he was doing this, he was doing that, coming in and everything like that, and reliever. And then when you were a reliever, that's garbage time relief. That's like when you get a garbage time touchdown, but it pads the stats. When are we going to get to the point, do you think, Sean, where people stop stat box watching and start to really go down and look at tape and see, missed throws and see bad reads and see forcing balls into double, triple coverage just to force the ball there, or kind of how garbage time stats become a thing? Do you think that we'll ever get to that point where we will have, at least some normal watching of the sport of football instead of just looking at a stat box and being like, all right, yeah, he did this. If we project him over an amount of time, he's going to be fantastic.
No, I think it's always going to be stats driven, right? I mean, contracts are stats driven. Hall of Fame, stats driven. Stats are always going to be there. I mean, they may find a way to maybe, like in baseball, for instance, you got the WAR, all those crazy stats where they take maybe, some and put all together to make one stat, but stats are always going to be a part of this.
You don't think that they'll ever, I guess, obviously it's always going to be a part of it, but you don't think that they'll ever kind of try to move away from the watching the stat box consistently?
I don't think
I
don't think they can, just because
in terms of instead of just sitting there and maybe
for a quarterback, okay?
Right.
How are you basing this contract on?
I guess, yeah, there's the
number of completions, touchdowns, maybe yards per pass or something, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they're always going to be based on stats. You're not just going to look at it and be like, hey, man, I love your footwork. Here's a multi-million-dollar deal.
Right. I don't know. I feel like it just annoys me more and more and more because, it's like that. It's trying to watch the stat box for something like that instead of actually going down and be like, oh, okay, well, this happened here and this happened there, and being like, oh, you know what? He's going to be a good filler for when we, get that next person in, but right now it's not going to go well.
I mean, I think some coaches look at that, but ultimately I think everything else comes down to stats, though. That's the problem. I know some coaches look at something like, okay, if we do this with them and we blitz, we got to be careful because he's cool under pressure and he'll beat us on the slant or whatever. I mean, there's things that you can look at and be smart. Again, it's kind of like where we say they're game managers.
Uh-huh.
And things like that. I think that's where that term kind of comes from, because ultimately they're going to, they understand the game and how it works. So they could sit there and pick you apart. Whereas you look at, Ryan Fitzpatrick just plays the game. He just plays it without any fear almost, in a way. And you get the good and you get the bad. And there you have the facts of life.
Fitzpatrick. There you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, though. I don't even mean so much towards coaches, because I think every coach looks at a player and sees someone that they think they can turn into something. You always see untapped potential in something. You don't think?
I wouldn't say every player, but
maybe, yeah. But
if somebody they got their eye on,
that.
I think, yes, I agree with you there.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But I don't think they look at every player and I can do something with that guy. Even though that coach couldn't, I can.
Right. I mean, well, Bill definitely does. You'd have to think. Bill Belichick is the guy that definitely does that.
Well, I think what he does is he does analytics and Moneyball without doing analytics and Moneyball. He just does it in his head. He looks for the best value in a
Him
guy,
and Ernie Adams.
and that's what they do.
Him and Ernie Adams, man. They are Ernie's going. He's retiring, so he's gonna not be with Ernie anymore. But I think I'm more so on the fan type of thing and trying to I guess I get the projection and even with how we talk about projections with Myles Gaskin. And we talk about, Myles Gaskin, if he had done this, and I understand, looking at his attempts, if he had played all the games and this and what would happen, and it's always just projections. But we don't know what Myles Gaskin could have gotten hurt. Myles Gaskin could have had 3 bad games because of a rushing defense and this, and it's just all projections. I think that looking at it over a stat projection wise instead of being at this point in time, these are some things that we saw that show that he has the potential to do this, he has the potential to do that and this. I think this potential, looking at stats and saying, well, this is what he did over this period of time, we can project this to be this next year. It's there are people, there's some projection for Ben Roethlisberger to throw 4,000 yards this season and a certain amount of touchdowns, and it's well, if you look at what he did last year, he was able to do this. Yeah, well, if you look at what he did last year, he had a great start to the season, and then the team completely fell off, as did he and his arm. They're not gonna bring you up again. They're not gonna Ben Roethlisberger is not gonna throw for 4,000. Well, maybe he'll throw for 4,000. He's not. Or 3,500 to 4,000. He's going to throw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns or something next season.
Yeah, but also a lot of that goes to how the team's game plan, and their game plan mostly is Roethlisberger. They have a tough running game, but most of their the play calling is to Roethlisberger, so that helps in the projection of how many yards he's going to get.
Yeah, but I mean, if we from what Roethlisberger and how Roethlisberger played last year, you think he can put up 4,500 yards this season? And 30, 35 touchdowns?
You have to remember, there's 17 games now as well.
4,500 yards, though, Sean, for what we saw at the back end of that season with his arm. It's like what we saw with Breeze. I mean, Breeze's arm was shot, and that cost them a lot with the Saints.
No, I mean, it does, but at the same time, was it his arm? Was it the way people were defensing him? Was it?
I think we saw it was definitely his arm.
Okay. No, I mean,
because I know I'm just saying because I think that there was a lot that we saw with Drew and his arm last year and even the year before, where you could see that. I mean, they had Jameis coming in to throw the long balls, you didn't have Drew coming in to throw those deep passes.
Well, no, but Drew has never been the guy that's gonna though.
Oh no, he's never had the strongest arm. He's always been extremely accurate.
It was a lot of timing. It was, it's almost like what Tim Tebow did at Florida, honestly.
Yeah.
You say hike, you throw it downfield and watch the 4-3 guy run under it.
Watch Percy Harvin.
It wasn't like Tebow had this gun of an arm. I mean, yeah, he could throw the ball, but it was throw it downfield and my guy's faster than yours and I'm going to catch it. Or I throw a 5-yard in and watch everybody break tackles and go for 95.
You see, that's why I think, talking about the 5-yard in, that's why I think that I'm going to win this Kadarius Toney bet with Michael. He just has to get 500 yards, and I think it's 500 yards and 3 touchdowns or something. That's going to be so easy. He might be with the Giants, but imagine that's what he was he was doing 5-yard ins, drags, these little things over there with the Gators. He could definitely get 500 yards with the Giants.
Yeah, but he's not going to be breaking tackles like he did there.
Oh,
with
yeah,
some of these guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean,
but 500? Michael Pittman got 500 last year.
And again, it's game planning. It's that's the part that I think a lot of people. Yes, you can throw for 4,300 yards this year and be projected to throw for 4,500, but the Steelers also, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got a running back.
Well,
they want to start.
We're not sure yet, but potentially, yeah. Najee Harris could be something.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, but what I'm saying though is they have reached that potential to say, okay, we need to get a better running game. We need to look at how we are setting up our game plan because nobody's really look. James Conner to me is a great running back, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed. He's going to come in, he's going to get you some yards.
He didn't have that one move that every elite running back has.
There's no and he's not running away from people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he is a good running back, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't scare you to where now you start just okay, everybody fall back into, a defense and just sit there and wait for Roethlisberger to pass the ball because once they hand the ball off, we can catch Korner. Doesn't scare us.
Yeah. I mean, I would personally, I don't know. I don't think any of it ever, even that game that they had against the Dolphins the year that they went 5-11, the Dolphins should have won that game. And that was just another one of kind of like misplanning and stuff like that. Or maybe not. Well, it was just a very interesting game. But anyways, Saturday, let me adjust. It's 1-2 now, correct? Deep into the count? Okay, so Saturdays from 1-2. Baseball fans go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre. Catch a show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Seamheads have a new home. Listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodiasDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moodias family. Dr. Moodias is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodiasDental.com.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Miami Lakes location at 15462 Northwest 77th Court, located in the Ryan Oaks Plaza. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in. As long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful?
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast. May is here, which means hurricane season right around the corner. You need to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your house so that you're fully protected when we get a big storm coming on through. For those windows, only one place to call. My buddies at B&T Windows and Doors. They've been doing it in South Florida for decades, and they will set you up with the best of the business. PGT custom windows and doors. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126 for B&T Windows and Doors.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnsideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Hey, Memorial Day. Remember what this day is about. Remembering and honoring those that gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy our freedoms that we enjoy today. The Miami Heat, they were eliminated from the NBA playoffs on Saturday after a 120-103 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Inter Miami CF, they lost 3-0 in front of a full-capacity Dry Pink Stadium Saturday night. They're off now until June 19th, where they will travel to play DC United. The Marlins, their game yesterday postponed in Boston. They're off today and will head to take on Toronto in their home away from home, the great city of Buffalo. You're listening to the only locally owned South Florida sports talk station, OnSideRadio.com.
Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right, so we're going to get into our roundtable here on this beautiful Monday morning. One more sleep before we head into June and getting ready for everything that could possibly happen in the NFL post-June 1st. But this is not in the NFL. This is regarding the Heat and the Panthers. Who are these teams here in South Florida that made the playoffs this season? And, of course, disappointing ends for both of them. In the roundtable, the question being asked is, which team is closer to a title, the Heat or the Panthers, and why does one have the easier path? I think that the Panthers are most definitely on like steps, roads, miles, plane rides, anything you could possibly think, universe jumping, Rick and Morty type level things over where the Heat are right now. And I'm not saying that over just losing to the Bucks. You lose to the Bucks, it's okay. You lose to the Bucks in the fashion that you lose to the Bucks, and especially in those last 3 games, it is I don't even, words can't describe what is happening right now with the Miami Heat, in my personal opinion. I think that everything going on, I think it starts with everyone. I think it goes all the way from the top all the way down, and I think what we saw was just, it was embarrassing. I think there's no other way to put it. That was embarrassing football, or embarrassing basketball to watch on the court, and it was horrible. I think that it was horrible. I think what we saw out of the Panthers, and I think more so what we saw kind of throughout the season, there was a lot more consistency with the Panthers. Throughout the season, there was a lot more of kind of seeing guys really take on huge roles, seeing guys really become something with the team. And when you saw it in the playoffs, I think you saw a lot of your guys that you wanted to see have some good series, Ennis Sam Bennett and others kind of have a good series. Of course, the goalie situation for the first 3 games wasn't really what you wanted it to be, and it wasn't ideal. And then you get into, or I guess you say really the first 4 games, because that's when Spencer and I finally got in there in game 5. I guess you get into everything. It wasn't – you were able to see the future there, kind of, and seeing what Spencer Knight was going to do and kind of seeing what he was going to be able to be in the future. And I think seeing what you actually had in a playoff environment, and especially a young guy like that, 20 years old, I know that we did the same thing last year with Tyler, and it was in the playoff environment, and it was like the bubble. But I think even in that other game, even in the last game, game 6, regardless of the score line, I think the 3-0 and the 4-0, once you get down there to that 4-0, I think it really is more not an actual reflection of what actually happened on the ice that day. I think even the 3-0 was kind of towards the end there. The 2-0 kind of was more fitting. I still think he had a fantastic game, and I think that getting into the future here is going to be extremely beneficial for the Panthers. I think that they literally are just, they're miles and leaps and bounds above where the Heat are going to be, and I think we could see a title coming into South Florida from the Panthers within at least like the next 2 or 3 years, without a doubt, in my personal opinion. And that is the most that I have to say here on the roundtable, and kind of closing that out, because I think that there's a lot that you can say with the teams, and that's the most of what I can say. The thing that I think is interesting on the back end of that, kind of outside of the roundtable and more so on the Heat, is I think, again, it's just what we saw was just so, like, it was embarrassing. Like, that, there's nothing else that we can really say other than that. Like, it was just so embarrassing to watch. It's so hard to sit there and watch the team have a performance like they did. Losing game 1, all right, you're going to get into game 2, things will be better. You're going to be able to kind of get back to it, and you're going to adjust. You lose it, game winner by Chris Middleton. All right, readjust, come back for game 2. Game 2, you get blown out. All right, it's an anomaly. Sometimes when teams are shooting like that, look, there's just nothing you can do about it. It's just nothing you can do about it. come back at home with this fans, with the crowd, how they can come out there and really just give it their all. And they really did give it their all for both those games. And kind of cheering on and joking around with the counting Giannis's free throws and all that other stuff. You go out there and you have another embarrassing game, and it's like, man, do I even want to see them? I mean, they were leading at one point in game 4, and I'm sitting there at home as I'm waiting to go join Austin at Stout to watch the UCL final. And I'm sitting there wondering to myself, do I even want to see this go game 5? Like, at that point, you're just sitting there like, you were embarrassed in game 2. You're flat out embarrassed in game 3 again. And then you're sitting there, they finally have a lead, and you're sitting there wondering, man, I kind of don't want them to win this game. I just want this to end. I don't want to see us go back into Milwaukee with all the jokes that we're already going to get of, bubble frauds. And even, I mean, their own Twitter account was doing it. The Bally Sports in Wisconsin was doing it, where they're on this high horse. I think it's the same. This is the best. I drove myself into it here. The best comparison I can give, because I think they are both tied in very well together. The Milwaukee Bucks have yet to win anything at all. They won a round 1 matchup. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Bubble frauds, you get your bike back, whatever it is. Congrats. Great. The best comparison I can give this for anyone that watches football, for anyone who watches anything, like, world football, was PSG. PSG had yet to win anything at all. They were celebrating like they had just won the Champions League final, and they got destroyed by Manchester City. Right now, Milwaukee on Twitter, fans, players, I'm sure maybe people in the front office are all celebrating like they just won the NBA Finals. You swept the Heat. You destroyed them. You did destroy them. You put a stamp on the Heat season going into the offseason that would just be embarrassing, and you destroyed them flat out. You were the better team over 4 games each and every game. But you have not won anything yet. And that's the thing I think sticks with me is I would not have wanted for this team to go back into Milwaukee with the crowd that would have been there if they won that game 4 just to get flat out embarrassed again. Once it was 3-0, we knew they were not coming back. And I don't care about the gentleman's sweep, the 4-1. No, if you're going to put me down 3-0 and you put it in the way where you embarrass me 2 straight games, I don't want to see anything else. Just wrap it up and bring me, and that's it. Have it finished. End it there. There's no reason to go out there and be embarrassed again. And I think the best thing that probably could have happened for this Heat team was to get blown out in the way they did, because now you have to really critically look at this roster, because I think everyone and people are trying to jump off of where they were, and I think that that's ridiculous. I think there are a lot of people who I've seen kind of try to jump ship. Even I thought myself as well, where I thought that there was a really big possibility where the Heat were going to be able to take, some part in this series and maybe even win it. But I remember saying myself, and I believe it was a roundtable question, I remember saying myself that I thought the biggest thing that was going to come from this, if they were able to make it competitive, would have been the 5th game. I said if anything was going to happen, I thought if it's going to be competitive, if the Heat are going to do anything with it, it was going to come down to that 5th game. We didn't even get to the 5th game. Even if we got to the 5th game, they would have lost anyways. It wouldn't have mattered. But that's how I was thinking about it. And I'm not afraid to kind of sit there and talk about it, because I know there are a lot of people who are trying to kind of jump off of that. It's not bad to admit that you thought the Heat had a chance in this series. Saying, oh, well, we knew the Heat never had a chance. I mean, 2 weeks ago, you were talking about how the Heat had a chance. The Heat had a chance. They showed you that they can compete with this Bucks team in game 1, and then flat out couldn't put anything together for 3 straight games. I mean, they could not put anything together. 132-98, 113-84, 120-103. I mean, I think I saw a stat that said that the Heat had lost the series by an average of like 20.2 points or something like that. That's flat out embarrassing. Like, there's no other way around it. The Heat got flat out embarrassed. So I know the roundtable portion of that had ended like a little bit ago as we got into the Heat stuff. But that, for me, is, again, the Panthers are just so far ahead. I'm very more so excited to see what's going to happen with them coming into the future, because I think they're just leaps and bounds ahead of what we're going to get out of the Miami Heat, at least for another few years. But they have to kind of do it now because this is your window with Jimmy. So then you have to think, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to go after a third star? I mean, people are thinking that the teardown of the Clippers is done now because it's a tied 2-2 series. With the Mavericks, who knows? Who knows? Anyways, we're gonna get ready to round out the show here and then crosstalk with Big O here in the next segment. Start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and view the podcast Toasted Sports 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
At OnsideRadio.com, we chirp all day and night. It's time to do some more chirping with David Dwork and our Chirping the Cats report.
It was a fun season, but as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. The Panthers put up a good fight in forcing a Game 6, but that was as far as they would get, as the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning knocked out the Cats with Wednesday's 4-0 win. Rookie goaltender Spencer Knight did what he could to keep Florida in the game, stopping 20 shots, including several point-blank opportunities during the first 2 periods, but it was Tampa goalie Andrei Vasilevsky that stole the show. The likely Vezina Trophy finalist was a brick wall, stopping everything the Panthers threw his way and frustrating the Cats at every turn. Now Tampa will move on to face the winner of the Carolina-Nashville series, while Florida will head back to Sunrise, clean out their lockers, and head into the offseason wondering what could have been.
Keep up with the latest on the Florida Panthers by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio, your home for South Florida sports. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. Getting ready to round out the show and crosstalk with Big O. Good morning, O. How are you?
I'm doing great, bro. It's Memorial Day. We obviously have a lot of people to thank because, I mean, for those of us that might say, oh, man, I'm working on a Monday, well, there's a lot of people that sacrificed a lot for us to be able to enjoy ourselves, work, do the things we love, and obviously radio is something that all of us have a passion for. That's why we're building Onside Radio, and it's a blessed day, man. People
in order
like
to have
my
the
father
freedoms
who
that
served.
we have.
So thanks to everybody out there for serving and providing the freedoms that we enjoy every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be. I think about it a lot, especially considering what's happening, and I'm not, like other countries around the world, kind of thinking about like the fact that we have a lot of freedoms here that not a lot of countries have. There's a lot of countries that do have freedom, but I think in terms of like even other way, I mean, I don't think there's many countries where dating back to like last year, where you could literally tweet out like, F you Trump, and like nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Like there are a lot of countries you do that to.
Hey, man, there's a lot of countries that can't even get a vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have maybe 1% or 2% of their entire population.
It's getting really bad in a few
we're like
right now.
we're like going back to normal because most people are getting vaccinated. I think it's like 40% have been vaccinated, and I think it's like 70 have already had one shot or something like that. So we're really blessed that we're able to enjoy those kind of freedoms because we were able to go out and get the vaccines and all that stuff. Biden overloaded. In fact, he's sharing some with other countries now. So I think that's really important. That's part of our freedoms that we're able to do what we're doing now to be able to enjoy these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I got my job. They had told us, they're like, hey, if if you guys don't want to wear masks, you don't have to. I'm still going to because I don't know where these people are coming from. But that was like a step, like a jump for me because my boss was like, hey, we just got an email from up top where it's like, City of Miami employees that are vaccinated don't have to wear masks. Or damn.
But as long as you're don't worry about it. As long as you're dump it. As long as you're
please dump that. Please dump that.
So as long as you're what's it called? As long as you're vaccinated and you're keeping your distance, you should be fine, dude. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
Damn.
It's all good. 2
months in, that's the first time I slipped.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
No, I know. It's gonna be
You're good, bro. Relax.
I am.
No big deal.
That was funny. What do you have coming up on the show today?
We got Omar Kelly at 12:30. At 1:30, Alan Poupar is going to join us. So a lot of Dolphins talk today. And obviously, I'll be doing my own Heat discussion to start off the hour. So we got a lot of things on what I thought was a slow Monday. Because outside of some of the things that happened over the weekend, I was, preparing for the show today. I'm
there's
like,
the Kyrie stuff that happened. I mean,
there's
a lot.
That stuff, that's the basketball stuff is kind of what's going to carry almost a lot of the stuff here. So when we'll get into a little football also today, because Dolphins is never out of style.
Yeah, I think things are definitely calming down a little bit, but I think with the Dolphins and football, but things are still very interesting. Yeah, there's still a lot that you can talk about.
Remember, there's still Malik Hooker out there. He's going to decide between Miami or the Cowboys. That's what the reports are.
I want him to come to Miami so bad.
I think
because when healthy, he's so.
You want
good.
money? Go to the Cowboys. You want to win? You come to the Dolphins.
Well, that's what they
That's
took
it.
Keanu Neal and they made him a linebacker, which is probably gonna be so much more beneficial for his career because at safety for the Falcons, he was okay. He wasn't as good as he kind of would be as like that linebacker role. So I think that'll be great for him. But they also have a lot of linebackers, like the Cowboys now. You're thinking about like Keanu Neal, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith. They drafted what's his name? Oh my God. From
I know
Notre
who you're
Dame.
talking about.
No, not Notre Dame. Penn State. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But they drafted him, so they have a huge linebacker group. But hopefully you have a great show.
Mackay. Right?
Michael Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
There we go. Michael Parsons. Yeah. But hopefully you have a great show.
Thank you, sir.
For everyone that tuned in today, thank you so much. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. Of course, you're listening to OnSideRadio.com.